What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Investing Bros on this very interesting Friday show. We gotta kind of twist some things because you guys know we try to be extra positive on Friday. It's the last day of the week. Gotta get into some gratefulness, but of course we had, oh my goodness, almost a $4,000 drop on Bitcoin price yesterday, especially depending on what exchange you're looking at. We're going to talk about that a lot more. Who is to blame? There's a lot of rumors that it's SpaceX and Elon, but of course, we also have the news of Evergrande, the big bank over in China, files for bankruptcy. And of course, this is on the heels of a lot of speculation that the Chinese economy could be crumbling. Who is the bigger one? Is it both of them? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. Definitely want your opinion as well. So make sure you stay tuned for the entire show. We're going to do a lot of charts, a lot of discussion. We're going to break things down because, guys, here's the thing. Yeah, we crashed. Let's just get out there, guys. We crashed. But I put this tweet out over on X last night. I said, listen, there are three responses. And to be fair, there's probably 147 responses. But there's three main responses that every single one of us can take right now after seeing something like what we just saw. You can just sit and do nothing. And to be fair, that's not even necessarily a bad decision. I'm not convinced this is the end. I think at least we're double bottoming down there. I think there's a lot of things. We're going to cover that in the charts and a lot more. But you can sit and do nothing. You also can complain and freak out and contemplate leaving the market because you're frustrated, you're scared, the FUD's just too much for you. You can leave. You can. The third option, you can buy more. And there was a golden opportunity that came your way last night. And I hope a lot of you, and the truth, it's not over. It's like, I hope you guys are taking advantage of this amazing opportunity because what did not change yesterday, the price changed, but what did not change is the bright future of crypto. I was watching a video this morning. It was an altcoin daily short. They were interviewing Mark Yusko. I love Mark Yusko. Hopefully we'll get him on the channel at some point because he's just a great mind. But he's reiterating the story of how when you're a big player, when you're a whale, when you are the composite man and you want to buy something, what do? You poop on it. You deliberately manipulate the price to the downside. He gave the example of George Soros. When George Soros wanted to get really, really into copper, he has a massive amount of copper, but you know what he did? He went out and had articles posted about how terrible copper was and how it was worthless and going to zero pretty much. He swooped in after the big crash, bought up a bunch of copper, and then took it to new highs. That is the play that happened. So to be honest with you guys, when I see things like what happened yesterday, and yeah, I don't know if we're 100% certain exactly what it is. Is it China? Is it Elon? No matter what it is, I guarantee you guys, this is a part of the move of the composite man. As we're seeing people like BlackRock and we're seeing other big, large investing banks getting into the crypto space, this was a part of the play. They had to crash price. Why? So that they could gobble more supply at those lower levels. Because when institutions miss the boat, they bring the boat back. That's why I'm so excited today on Friday. I hope you guys are feeling the same way. With that said, though, let's introduce the co-host of the show. Mr. T. Shroom is joining me today from Florida. T. Shroom, how are you feeling on this Friday?
Well, believe it or not, I'm feeling better than I deserve, Tim. I really am.
Good.
Got some good entries last night into a lot of different assets, but feeling good, overall. I'm here to help answer questions for those people who maybe aren't feeling so good today. I think that's why we're all here. I've got a quote here from Steve Jobs. So we'll take a look at that. He said, if you want to make everyone happy, don't be a leader. Sell ice cream.
I agree. What a good quote. What a good quote. We should have more people in this world selling ice cream. In fact, we were having a discussion last night in Discord, T-Shroom. A lot of people in our Discord, a lot of people in our community want us to start doing some merch. But what if before we did one item of merch for Investing Bros, hats, shirts, what if we came up with an ice cream brand? Definitely has to have Oreos and cookie dough. That's a good combo right there. The Investing Bros ice cream. In chat, let us know if there was an Investing Bros ice cream, what would be in it. But speaking of chat, let's get them involved here today. Let's do the ceremonial reading of names. But I do want to start because we're going to read the names. but I did want to give a special shout out to Eye of the Beholder, who just became a silver member.
Very nice.
Thank you so much, Eye of the Beholder. Good to have you in here. Again, the greatest community in all of crypto. And sorry, it's not even close. Maybe we're not the largest. Maybe we're only a little over 4,000 subscribers, but dang, are we potent. You guys are the best. The bros community is the best. Let's go and read some other names in chat, though. Here's the thing. What I'm seeing, this is not good. I think my chat reloaded because I remember seeing that Gia S was the first commenter. But when I scroll back.
Can confirm.
Yeah, okay. Well, now I see Justin Eubanks as the top commenter. So, guys, we all know Gia was first, but bear with me as I read the names. This does not have any reflection on who was first and in what order. I'm just going to read some names. I know you guys are in here commenting a lot, so let's go and get some other names. Justin Eubanks is here this morning. Ninja Glock is here. Of course, Gia S. Now, there is a rumor in chat, T-Shirt, that Gia might be a bot. Because of her, being able to be in so many different video chats at the same time. There was also a request to see if she was to blame for the crash yesterday. If we took her blue wrench away, that maybe that will solve the Bitcoin problems. But here's the thing. We're never taking away Gia's wrench. Even if Gia stabs us in the back and poops on us in every stream, we love Gia. Gia's one of the best bros we have. We're not taking that blue wrench away. Let's keep moving on, though. Curtis Rorick is here. Arson246 is here. Who else? We have Brakoshi, No Dinero, Crypto Kisuki, Crypto News Channel. Okay, there we go. Very interesting name there. Who else do we have? DCA and Prey is here. Yesterday, I think we were talking about the lows and stuff, and I said 26.5. Hey, listen, that's where we kind of bounced on that wick, DCA and Prey. So even though we went lower, and we'll talk more about that in a second, good call for 26.5. That's kind of a good hovering point here recently. Yair Navarro is here with that green name and that yellow badge. Love seeing those. Again, I cannot wait to see the red ones coming in the next couple of weeks. Who else is here? Eric Wallen is here saying, I keep snoring and waking myself up. Well, wake up, Eric. Where's Jack, by the way? What happened to Jack Meoffer? He hasn't been getting good sleep because I haven't been seeing him in chat recently. Missed that guy. Crypto Mini Bike is here. Crypto Trades is here. Who else do we have? Let's get a couple more, and then we're going to get in. Crypto Sec guy is here. Army Piper is here. Who else do we have? Luigi Fibonacci, OC Pet Doctor is here. Donato Cabrera. And the last one I'm going to read. No, the last two. We're going to do the last two. French Toaster. He also said that, don't worry, guys. The reason why we crashed is because he entered a long. It's always a good joke. And the last one I want to read, and haven't got to read his name recently because I never get down to it, but JT Skinner is almost here every single day. Love seeing it, guys. Thank you so much, everybody who's in chat. If I did not read your name, and there probably were a good amount of you, you guys know I love you. It's not because I don't love you. It's just because it's time to go ahead and get on into the show. With that said, T-Stream, let's go ahead and go to my screen. Let's take a look at the economic calendar that definitely got messed up because I gotta clear these countries. Let's go back and let's look at the United States. I think you got to
share your screen, my man.
Oh, I didn't share my screen? Well, maybe my screen was black. You ever thought about that?
I will take this moment to say, check out our sponsors, BitGet and Chart Prime. And if you haven't gotten into the NFT world, maybe consider taking a look at some NFTs.
There we go. Yeah, I'm just fixing this up. We're gonna look at just the US day. I'll fix this for future days, guys. Going to 2 stars here. Well, I did not fix it, I guess. Close. Let's go clear it. Let's look at the United States and the United Kingdom. We'll do that. We'll do those 2 today. Let me know if you guys will have other countries you want me to look at. We probably should start looking at the China one as well. You know what? Yeah. Why not?
Peru.
Why not? Do you want me to look at Peru?
Peru's a good one. Botswana.
We're gonna do China. We're gonna do China, Great Britain, the U.S. for now, and then we'll look into other countries in the future. Retail sales for Great Britain are coming out this morning at negative 1.2%. Previous was 0.6. The consensus was 0.5 to 0.3, so it actually came out lower than we thought. I do believe that. I think that's actually a bad thing. I think we want to see those numbers go up to the upside. So The lower number, I do think, correct me if I'm wrong. I know Piper is in chat and this is one of his specialties, but I do think that probably is a negative thing. We want to see retail sales actually go up. Let's go on and keep moving on. I don't know what this loan prime rate 1 year and loan prime rate 5 year coming out Sunday here for China. Of course, that they don't have the same 5-day work week that we do apparently, or maybe it's because that's there for them on Monday and we just get to see it on Sunday. I don't know which it is, but that's what's happening in China here on Sunday night. Moving into next week, there's not necessarily some massive news starting the week off. We do have some home sales. We have mortgage rates coming out Tuesday and Wednesday. You do move on to Thursday of next week. At 8:30 a.m., we will be getting durable good orders. So we'll definitely talk about that. That'll have an effect on the economy. And that is the question right now, guys. We are watching the Chinese economy kind of fall apart. What is going to happen to the American economy? Are we still moving to the upside, which is a lot of what, we're seeing numbers move up, but are we in store for potentially something bad to happen? We're going to have to continue to monitor that. Let's move on, though, and keep looking at some other things. Let's take a look at liquidations. In the last hour, 1.11 million long liquidations for Bitcoin. So definitely bearish last hour here. Let's look at the 24 hours. Look at that, 500 million. I know it says 499, but we're just going to go ahead and round up by 1 extra million at 0.86 million. That's a lot of liquidations. 373 of them being long liquidations. Funny, because that's the exact number that the rumor about SpaceX selling is. I'm not going to tease what my belief is there. If you guys want to hear my thought about SpaceX, you have to stick around for the rest of the show when we get to it. But 373 million long liquidations. Big day. We haven't seen a number like that in a long time. Ethereum had 254 million liquidations of their own in the long category. 54 and a half shorts were liquidated. That probably is mostly to do with the bounce that we did have on price action. You can see a lot of other green ones. We do have one red one. It's Rune again. But other than that, the last 24 hours, very, very negative for the crypto space. Let's take a look at the updated Truflation, ticking even a little bit higher this morning at 2.51%. So that continues to move in the wrong direction. Now let's go over and take a look at CME futures. Let's see what they are saying this morning. We're still kind of sitting where we were yesterday. We probably will see a pause. And the expectation at this point, guys, we're probably, CME is not predicting any more rate hikes whatsoever. So the question becomes, when do we start cutting? And it does look like the day is still going to be May. May is the expectation. That'll be right after the halving on Bitcoin. Historically, stock markets go to the downside when you pivot and you start to cut rates. So we'll see how this kind of plays out with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's really not ever gotten to experience that kind of a dynamic with interest rates being so high and then having a cut come in. So we'll have to see how that happens. But as it stands right now, I know this would make a lot of people happy to see rates finally come back down, make it easier to borrow money and purchase things. You gotta wait till May, though, it looks like. Let's take a look at our Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index this morning. Wow. 37. Wow. 37, dumping from 50 to 37. That's a 13-point move, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good thing. Let's just pause on that, T-shirt. That is a good thing. You want to see it back in the fear. Out of curiosity, let's even go look. When was the last time? We'll go to the 1 year. When was the last time we saw 37? We technically haven't seen 37 in a long time, but we passed it here back in March. March of 2023 was the last time, kind of mid-March. If we were to go, even though we're not officially getting into technical analysis yet, what were we doing in March of 2023? Oh, look at that, guys. Oh, that was the bottom of this little mark right here. Not the bottom of the bear market, but the bottom of this little fall. A lot of people thought things were getting worse. The fear and greed index was low, but look at price now. Oh my goodness, those same levels, but massive difference in price. Guys, that's a bullish thing. That's another reason to be excited here on Friday. Let's keep the positivity rolling. Let's take a look. Well, okay, I say that, and then we're going to go to CoinMarketCap, where we're going to see a lot of red numbers. So stay positive, guys, while we go through this. Stay positive. 7% and a 7.5% down for Bitcoin, 6% down for Ethereum. Whew. Who would have guessed it, guys? Who would have guessed that Tim's prediction of 55 cents was actually super bullish? Everyone called me a bear, but it turns out I was bullish because we went a lot lower. I did swoop up some nice XRP at 50 cents last night. So probably sitting around the same spot right now. But hey, I thought 55 would be a good buy. So 50 to me is a steal. I know technically speaking, you probably could have gotten down towards, was it 43, 42 cents? I've seen some exchanges say, but I was very happy with my pickup of 50 cents last night. Cardano down only 4%. That's something we definitely should talk about. Cardano, everything dipped last night, but Cardano didn't really dip that much. We'll take a look there, but let us know in chat. What are you guys' thoughts about Cardano? Solana down about 6%. Dogecoin down about 7%. Interesting things there going on, though, too. If Elon is involved, maybe. Is he going to take some of that money and put it into Dogecoin? Because we do think that Dogecoin is probably going to be heavily integrated into X. Could be an interesting thought. Let's see. Were there any other big movers? Litecoin down 13.5%. Let's see here. Anything else? Bitcoin Cash down 11%. Let's take a look at the biggest losers and gainers of the top 200. Biggest gainers, INJ, Injective. They're up almost 7%. XDC barely up. So again, not a lot of green here, guys. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that right there is a stable coin. So that does not even count when that's a stable coin. So we only had, and that's a stable coin. We had 2 coins in the green. And then you get into stable coins and then it gets red. So let's do this. I want to see, what's your prediction right now, T-Shroom? Biggest loser. Give me a percentage you think that it's going to hit.
From yesterday in the top what? Top 200?
This is top 200. Yeah. Top 200 coin. Biggest loser. Take a guess.
30%.
30%. I'm going to go 45%. Wow,
17.
we're both off. 17. All right, so it wasn't as bad as we thought. Maybe
Tim, we were both off, and neither one of us was closer. So we're both losers in that one. Man, what a bummer.
All right, well, yes, Conflux down the biggest, 17%. Wow, XRP second with that 14% down. Arweave as well, pretty much at that 14. Litecoin at that 14. ApeCoin, oh my goodness, ApeCoin. ApeCoin just lives in the biggest losers of the day category. I'm sorry. Goodness.
I'm glad I dropped that one. I dropped that one back in like February.
Yeah, a lot of red coins today. A lot of red coins with actually pretty significant red moves today, guys. Pepe's in there, man. Pepe is in there. Well, let's go ahead, T-Shroom. Let's get into some charts here.
Let's do it.
And as you already mentioned, guys, we got to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the chart section. Chart Prime, the best indicator in the space. Make sure you go check it out. We use it every single day. Our community gives it every single day. It is great. If you don't have it, you're still an okay person. You're probably not making as much money as you could. The other one is BitGet, guys. If you are looking to make some trades, and guess what? When volatility hits like this, the traders can have some fun. BitGet is our go-to user for trades. Go check them out as well. Links down below. Also, if you're not going to buy them, just go click on them. We found out yesterday it means a lot to marketers and sponsors when people click on things. So help us out. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click on links just for some kicks and giggles. It's free of charge. And if you like what you see, and you can pay for it. So it's good. All right. So I told you guys yesterday, I'm going to spend a lot more time on lower time frames, but I was thinking about it. We had a community meeting yesterday with our gold members. Really love having those, getting some good insight and feedback from you guys. I'm going to keep it flexible. Pretty much when the market didn't do a lot recently, we're going to look at lower time frames and just kind of look at, hey, what's the next day look like? But when we have moves like today, we got to stay on larger time frames because we got to start thinking about what is the next macro move. We'll probably even make it all the way down to the 4-hour chart, but I don't think I'm going to look at the hourly chart today, guys. I think this is going to be mostly about the daily and maybe even looking at weekly and stuff because guys, we've talked about this. I did not think that Bitcoin was going to drop this fast. You guys know we've said here for a while. I've said this for a while, and I think T-Shroom, thought 27 would be around there, but Piper and I have definitely talked about 25,000 being the low for this year. But I've also said recently, guys, that if we hit 25,000 this early, you got to start asking the question about 20,000. Guess what? There's this rising level of support. We have officially busted through that line of support. This is a negative sign, guys, because now we are no longer setting higher lows. Let's see what a bounce back looks up. By the way, there's just so much I could talk about today here on technical analysis. I'm going to try to keep it as concise as possible because I also want to look at other projects. But do keep in mind, now that we've lost this rising level of support, just like I've talked about with a lot of other things, we had resistance level at 25.2. I said, guys, watch us come back down and hit that. It's really strong to turn support or resistance into support, and vice versa. It's really strong to turn support into resistance. Do not be surprised, everybody, if we actually do see Bitcoin bounce back up into this T-box. Rather than using as support, use that as resistance, and maybe have a wick touch this blue line, maybe even as high as 28.6. I'm just telling you right now, this is not financial advice, guys, because we don't give financial advice. We just talk about the markets, we talk about trades, but we do get to talk about what we want to do. I probably will take some profits / even look for some short positions. I might even start monitoring what the market's doing around 27.4 or so. But 28.6, if we get a touch of 28.6, I think that could be a very, very interesting spot to be taking profit and looking for some more shorts. I do believe, guys, we're going to be bearish through October, but I think maybe somewhere in October we bottom out, more than likely somewhere around $20,000. Again, I wasn't sure we were going to go down this far, but the fact that we now have retouched 25.2, not yet on Bitcoin CME futures, but we have this pocket, we have this gap all the way down at 19,940. I do think with this most recent move, there's a decent chance we end up getting down that far. Now, I do see Piper. Thank you for the super chat, Piper. We miss you. He said, Tim, measure that line as a head and shoulders. Yes, sir, we will. Good call there. I bet you was going to put us right to where we're talking about. So just in case you guys are wondering what Piper is talking about, head and shoulders patterns are bearish patterns. We do look like we haven't done this yet, guys. So there's a lot of things that could change here, but let's pretend for a second that I was right? And we end up bouncing back up here, and then we kind of move sideways, and then we come back and we break down, right? This would give us a left shoulder, a head, and a nice right shoulder. So this is what Piper's talking about. If anyone doesn't know what a head and shoulders pattern is, that is a head and shoulders pattern. The way you read these is if this was a perfect neckline, this $25,000 range, 25.2, you go to the top of the head, you go down to that neckline, and then you move this over to a potential breakout spot. And ladies and gentlemen, guess what that would give us? 18,800. Now, that doesn't mean we have to go down that far. I'm a very big proponent of looking for confluence around the area. So we already know confluence could be right here in the $19,000 range. We know the CME future gap is right there around 20,000. Don't be surprised if we don't go to the full prediction of this head and shoulders pattern, but it does give us a good indication. Great call out there, Piper, that's just one more piece of evidence that more than likely a $20,000 price for Bitcoin could very well be seen happening later on this year. Let me know in chat if you guys agree or disagree. Let's go ahead and get rid of some. Nope, I got to get rid of these. Get rid of all my lines there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's keep moving on here. Anything else I want to talk about here on Bitcoin? Oh, we haven't even gotten to the oscillators. Let's go take a look at oscillators, guys. So this is one of the reasons why I do think that people could be gobbling up. I think there's trades and longs that could happen here. We just hit oversold or oversold on the daily chart. We're waiting here an MVP oscillator, but if you guys look really closely, let's go ahead and full-fledge it. We're starting to brighten up on these histograms down here. You guys know a combination of bright histograms with Christmas tree ornaments is a great buy strategy here using chart prime indicators. So that's one reason to be positive. It's one reason to be positive. 4-hour chart is where it gets noise. When I say noise, look at that. Look at the Christmas tree ornaments. Look at those green histograms, and look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We got down to negative numbers on the chart prime RSI. I saw someone say this morning, I'm going to save time, not go to it, but if you were looking at regular RSI, that is an all-time low. What RSI hit last night was an all-time low for the RSI on the 4-hour chart. So massive screaming on these charts that the price of Bitcoin is overextended and should be a good at least buy for now. Let's continue to watch some things in the future. But a major overreaction to the market. Things happened way too fast. And when things happen that fast, they end up bouncing back to the upside pretty aggressively. So that's something we're definitely keeping our eyes on. Now, let's look at one more thing here today. Dynamic reactor sitting all the way back here. We lost that dynamic reactor. Another reason to be bearish, even though we kind of lost it a little bit over here. This being this far below the daily dynamic reactor, do not be surprised if that's another reason we get back up into this range, is we come back up to retest it as resistance, and then we bounce off it and continue to the downside. Let's take a look at our this is the big one, guys. When we're looking here, let's go down the 4-hour chart so we get a good variety of these. We talked about this before. After you lost this 28.6, There wasn't any dynamic or like multi-time frame support and resistance until all the way down here at 25,200. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's exactly what happened. We just went ahead and skipped everything in the middle. There was support at 28,000. There was support at 27.4 to 27.2. But we went through all of it like butter, came down, hit this bunch down here. I do believe we're going to see it happen again. One of the reasons why, guys, is because this is the last thing I'm going to talk about on Bitcoin. And then I do want to take at least some quick insights at some other coins here. But let's talk about volume here for just a second, ladies and gentlemen. When you see a high volume bottom, I'm not saying it's impossible for that to be the official bottom. That's not what I'm saying at all. Please hear me out through this whole take. But it's less likely to actually be done with the bottom when you see high volume at the bottom. Let me show you what I am talking about. Let's go back even to the bear market bottom itself back here in November through, December November and December area of 2022. Look at the high volume right here, guys. That high volume comes in at the bottom. Now, we haven't gone lower, and I don't think we're going to go any lower. But notice how we bounce back up. We have a nice bounce, but then we trickle back to it, and we end up setting the official low later on in that month. Well, look at the volume there. That's not very high volume. That's not a big spike. This is a great example of, yes, this high volume told us the price was reversing, but remember that old saying that I butcher all the time, where the price wicks, it will candlesticks. And I butchered it again there, but you guys get what I'm saying. When you wick there and the volume is high, to me, guys, that is a big, big sign that more than likely those prices will be revisited. Let me show you a good example of where it was a good indication we weren't revisiting those lows. Let's take a look at this low right here when we bounced back here in March. Now, is there a little bit of volume right here? Yeah, there's a little bit, but not a lot. Where does the volume come in? The spikes in volume actually come in confirming us to the upside. This is something taught in Wyckoff theory, that these spring actions are more often than not low volume bottoms, that when the volume comes in, if you start to rally and there's no volume, you're probably not done. But if you see volume come in during the rally, that is the confirmation that that low volume bottom was the bottom, and now you're moving to the upside. Same thing over here. Let's look at the bottom we had back in June. Now, yes, of course, we're retouching these levels, but at the time, we moved and hit our new high for the year. Look at this. Low volume. When did the volume come in? During the climb. Moving on to what we just saw right now, the high volume is the bottom. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do we do with this information? We do need to suspect, volume peaked at the bottom. Yes, that's a good reversal. More than likely, we'll be able to move to the upside. But I bet you that there is a 70 to 80% chance that we will see 25,200 again, with either a lot of volume blasting through it or low volume. And that would be the spring sign to say, this could be the actual bottom. And then you wait for the confirmation of when you see the explosive move and volume come in, that's your confirmation. We are done with that level. It's time to move seriously to the upside. So there's a little bit of your technical analysis alpha of the day using volume. Let's take a look now. I know it's 9:28, but guys, we got a lot to look at here today. I'm going to try to blow through it. Let's take a look at XRP, because, goodness, this one got us by surprise, got me by surprise. I still think if you bought at 55 cents, if you had buy orders, you still got a good level in the long term. But we did wick down all the way to, 43 cents is where we got to. So who would have guessed Tim was a bull by saying 55 cents? A lot of quiet XRP maxis this morning. And by the way, I'm not trying to poop on XRP. You guys know I love it. I just bought a lot more of it last night at 50 cents, which to me, because I thought we were only going to 55 cents, that's a steal to get 50 cents. Of course, my wife asked me, she's like, well, why didn't you get it at 43 cents? I was like, because I didn't know we were going to 43 cents. I don't know everything. I only know some things. But 50 cents, good buy, very good buy, better than 55. Here's what I will say. And even though I talked about 55 cents, some of you guys remember this. Only the investing bros will remember this, because I think this is the only place I said. I don't think I've ever said this on Ben's channel or anywhere else. But I did say, as we were coming down and as XRP got closer to 55 cents, I didn't like the timing. I didn't think it would happen this fast. And I also thought it would be matched with a lot lower levels on altcoins and Bitcoin. So I did here a couple of days ago, guys, kind of give you a warning and say, hey, 55 cents should be strong, but there's a chance we're dropping to 46 cents again. Well, turns out that one wasn't right either, because we went all the way to 43. But we did talk about this. So make sure you guys are watching Investing Bros every single day. Man, the combination of Piper, myself, and T. Shroom, we've been pretty lethal with some calls. Now, all of us have gotten certain things wrong. I'm not trying to say that we are perfect, not trying to say that if you follow our advice that because you shouldn't do that, continue doing research. But I'm not saying that we are the best, but maybe we are. I don't know. We've gotten a lot right recently. And if you guys don't watch the show every single day, you're going to miss out on a lot of good updates. That's another big thing I'm big on. I make predictions, but then I update those predictions all the time. You got to tune in every single day to get that alpha. Let's take a look at Cardano here. I told you guys it did not drop as much as the other coins. In fact, we did wick down to 24.5. That's not the low. The low, at least on Kraken this year, wicked all the way down towards 21 cents. But it is the price action that was the previous bear market low and is the lowest candle body close so far in Cardano. And that's that 24.5 area. So another thing to keep an eye on here, Cardano kind of holding up strong yesterday compared to the rest of the crypto market. You guys know I'm still sitting here saying I think 18 cents is possible. Just so you guys know, we're talking about here on Bitcoin. Maybe we hold, but I told you guys before on Bitcoin, if we touch 25 this early, I think there's a decent chance price action, guys, could look like what we just mentioned earlier, and we keel over and we come back down to 20,000. We fill that gap, and then we start a very long, boring, slow climb before explosiveness happens next summer. If this happens, guys, man, XRP at this point, let's see how much it bounces, but there's an actual chance we could be looking at somewhere more in the range of 41. I think 35 is a little low, but maybe a 40-cent XRP could be in the works. Cardano, that 18-cent range comes back into consideration on Ethereum. I know we didn't do Ethereum TA today, but I'm sitting here saying, guys, watch out for, maybe somewhere between 1360. I think 1100 is a little too low for my taste. There's just so much going on with Ethereum. I think Ethereum's really hard to get the price to drop down that far, but I do think a $1,300 Ethereum is very much in the cards later this year, end of September, early October, before we start to actually make our move back to the upside. And guys, that's just a 4-year cycle. Like, that's another thing is while Piper and T-Shroom and myself have been getting a lot of things right, I don't want you to think we have this crystal ball that's this secret. We're just keeping it simple. And I think sometimes people try to overcomplicate charts. They try to do way too much. Our strategy is we follow common sense, we follow the 4-year cycle, and we use Chart Prime. And hey, the results speak for themselves. Guys, that's the TA we have for today. I guarantee you we're going to probably end up looking at more charts later on in the show, but it is 9:32, which means it's time to jump in and get some community going on. Here's some of your guys' thoughts in chat, give you guys some updates on what Investing Bros are doing, and then we'll jump into some of our stories. T-Shroom, you can go ahead and go back to BroCam here. I'll let you start off. What are some big announcements we got to let everyone know about here on Investing Bros?
Well, the biggest one is that we've got our Saturday show tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tim. I'm really excited for that. We're going to hopefully meet some new audience members, get some folks who've never maybe had any exposure to Investing Bros or crypto. So it could be a lot of fun. If you're going to be in the chat, make sure you have a positive bias in these bearish times to try to help newer folks feel welcomed in.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a great show. And we told you guys yesterday. So just so you guys know, we give you guys the behind the scenes. We tell you what's going on. We found out, when you guys just click on links, that looks really good for our channel. When you guys hit the like and you're sharing it, it looks really good for our channel. But here's another one, guys. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but YouTube loves when your subscribers watch a video and hit the like button. So it would be amazing if you guys could come in tomorrow morning. It'll be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so not so early for our California. It's not as early for anybody, but our California friends don't have to wake up till 8 o'clock. Just come in, hit the like button, say what's up in chat. If you can't get there for the live show, make sure tomorrow afternoon to go in, watch at least 30 seconds of it, I guess, and hit the like button and make a comment. Just let YouTube know that you guys are in love with that content, and that way it gets pushed to more and newer people so we can continue to get bigger and better here with the Investing Bros community. So just want to give that little bit of a request to you guys. But speaking of requests, we have over 100 people watching. Only 86 likes, though, so we definitely need to go ahead and pump this stream up, get some more likes. We got a lot to break down here in the news. We're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about – you guys didn't even know that. I just said that out loud. We're going to talk about Trump here a little bit. We're going to talk about Elon Musk here a little bit. We're going to talk about China. We're going to get your guys' takes. Alex Green says he loves bottoms. Okay. Interesting thing to put in chat. Of course, we know what you're talking about. Let's see. Is there any other announcements, T-Shroom? I think that we don't have any for now, other than keep doing
Saturday
your
show.
thing, everybody. Let's engage with chat here for just a second, and then we'll get into the news here. DGen Tolman says, I had 3 shorts open.
Nice.
Bitcoin, BNB, and Link. Within 10 minutes, my whole trading account did a 1.5x just from those 3. Congratulations, Rick Wilson. We are happy to hear it. That is awesome. Josh Denham says fat bottoms. Oh my goodness.
Off the rails, guys.
Show. This is a family show, everybody.
We're losing him.
But keep it clean. Keep it clean. Amello Fellow says, smash the like, lurkers. Are you a lurker? Let us know in chat if you are a lurker. Who else do we have here? Let's see some other chat. Alex Green earlier said, I am done with this bottom. I need more volume. Love TA. I love TA. Oh, we all love TA. Good to see you here, Alex. Let's see. Anything else in chat that is interesting? Make sure, guys, throughout the entire show, ask some good questions. We are trying to do a lot better. It's hard sometimes when you get locked in on the charts and you get locked in what you're talking about to read chat. But I do now try to keep the chat open. I caught the super chat today, Piper. I know you're proud of me for catching that super chat while we're going. But yeah, make sure you guys are asking intriguing questions, giving your opinions, because here's the other thing I want you guys to know, and then we're going to get into stories. You know, obviously people get to watch me and T-Shroom and Piper, and then we have guests on, and a lot of them, they don't know your guys' faces. But those green names, those blue names, even if your name is silver, gray, I don't know what we're going to call that color. Do you know how special it is when you get into a YouTube community and you chat and then someone engages with you? Like, I want you guys to know this is not, Investing Bros is not the T-Shroom, Tim, and Piper take it's not just about us. You guys, in seeing these names, Cryptex, Amello Fellow, Piper, CryptoSec Guy, Alex Green, Gia S. There's so many names. When you guys are in here every single day and then you engage with people in chat, it just means the world. And that's why this community is so special, is because, hey, hopefully we're entertaining. Hopefully we're great. But I know some people who just like to be in shows to engage with the community. And that's why you guys are so good. So keep doing your thing. Continue to engage in chat. Ask questions. Encourage people. Answer questions in chat. Because this is a big community thing. It's not just about the people on the screen. Cryptex, thank you for the super chat. He said, did you catch this one? Good trick there, Cryptex. I did. Yeah. I did catch it.
I think we've got 2 suspected lurkers. We have Greg Chance said lurker here, and then also Daniel J said he's lurking. So
well, at least they're honest. Yeah. Thank you for being honest.
Lurkers. There's nothing wrong with lurking. Yeah. I'll take a lurker. I like a lurker. Yeah. I lurk a liker. All right, let's keep moving. I actually I want to do a quick market open here, guys, because there's actually something very interesting to summarize here. Nvidia's turned around. You know, that's been a pretty big indicator of strength. Nvidia's had nice little rounded top there, coming back down, tested higher up to 450, and is now coming back down. I am watching this like a hawk because I want to pick up more Nvidia. But if you're looking here at the mega cap tech stocks, yes, you're seeing a sea of red here. But it's not as bad as I thought it would be. You're not seeing like 3% or 4% sell-offs. Meta really is the one that's selling off the most, almost down 3%. Taking a look at the indexes, NASDAQ, S&P, Dow Jones, all down. S&P leading lower, right? But none of them are even down more than 1%. So it's very interesting move with Evergrande's bankruptcy filing in Manhattan. We're going to learn about that a little bit here in just a second. But you'd think that there'd be more blood on the streets. Maybe it's still to come. Maybe there is going to be more blood on the streets, but traders are waiting until 10 a.m. to go ahead and make those trades. That is something that happens every once in a while. So yeah, that's our little market open there. Nothing crazy. I'm not going to go sector by sector, but ultimately, you're not seeing as much downside as I would have thought. So,
well, I think I'm not going to tease it, but we will bring that. I'm glad that you did look at the markets this morning, T-Shroom, because that will factor into our conversation later about who is to blame for Bitcoin and for crypto. And I think that actually is a tall tale sign of who's to blame. But again, You got to stay around. Got to watch the whole thing if you want to hear that take. Let's jump into those stories, though, T-Stream. What do we want to talk about first?
Let's do it. All right, guys. So we're going to start off with the probably, in my opinion, the biggest story, which is the deals over at Orange Theory Fit. Oh, wait, sorry, that's the wrong headline. Evergrande Evergrande files for U.S. bankruptcy protection as China economic fears mount. This one is from this morning, 7:44 a.m. And I have some highlights down here. The company proposed because let's back up and give a little context. This should not be surprising news to anyone. This is news that probably should have happened earlier this year, but the Chinese government has a lot of control, and they can delay things that go on in their economy, but they can't delay them forever. And so this is why we're getting this headline. The company Evergrande proposed scheduling a Chapter 15 recognition hearing for September 20th. Evergrande's offshore debt restructuring involves a total of $31.7 billion, which includes bonds, collateral, and repurchasing obligations. It will meet with creditors later this month on its restructuring proposal. And then, this article gets into the domino effect and the contagion risks to the financial system, which have a destabilizing impact on the economy. What I will say overall is this is not good. It's not good news. It's definitely not good news. It is a little bit of a ripping off of the Band-Aid, though. And you can make the argument that a lot of that pressure was felt in the crypto markets last night. And not so much this morning in the stock market. Now, that could easily change throughout the New York session. We don't close till 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So there's still plenty of time on the clock for things to change. But as it stands now, things are a lot better than they could have been. And I think what may be kind of dangling above everyone right now is that this may have been baked in, because this is a story that was able to be introduced for quite some time. It's kind of like the regional bank stories where, if a regional bank went down today, yeah, the market wouldn't be going higher, but it's kind of baked in because analysts at all the financial institutions and traders like yourself sitting home day trading, you kind of have an understanding that, okay, there's some destabilization in the regional bank industry, and so nobody's buying it, right? So the prices, it's not like they have super far to fall because nobody's bidding it higher. So I think a similar phenomenon is happening with Evergrande here. But that's not how the crypto markets are interpreting it. So, Tim, kind of what's your take here on the Evergrande story, and do you think that there's still going to be more downside for the markets?
Yeah, I'm going to try to keep this brief, and we can keep moving on. But yes, we knew this was happening. Yes, this is not a black swan event. However, I think the markets wanted to go down to 25.2, and I think they're using it as an excuse. I didn't know it was going to happen this fast. But we've talked about 25.2 for a long time. Some of these markets even went down as far as 25,000. I saw a couple got down below 25,000. I think that it's the convenient excuse, but it's also something to keep your eyes on, because even though a lot of people knew it was going to happen, T-Shroom, I think that it caught a lot of people off guard. I think they weren't ready for it. I think this has pumped a lot of fear into both traditional finance, and we know that risk on assets are going to be hit a little harder than stock markets when there's fear about money. So even though I think there's a good argument to be made, it's like, oh, well, we already knew this was happening. It's like, well, yes, but there's a lot of fear, and it's a lot of fresh fear that's got pumped in. But I think it's a part of a bigger play. I think this is a great opportunity for institutions to go ahead and say, wow, we can buy some really, really cheap Bitcoin before these ETFs in America take off.
Yeah. I mean, we on the channel, Piper, you and myself, we have been calling for a shed on Bitcoin or a movement to the upside before a shed, right? We've been calling for a move, and the fact that we've been calling for that for even more than 2 weeks means that pressure has been building, right? And so that pressure was going to move dramatically to one side or the other the longer that prediction stood. And so I think that is probably the biggest variable here. I think that the Evergrande story and then the misinformation with Elon Musk and what was going on over there, which we will cover in a second, I think that was just kind of the spark that just kind of lit the crypto charts on fire. But it was a TA. I think this was fundamentally a TA movement. It was just the pressure had been built up for so long because there's not really a thesis to sell. All of a sudden, there's a thesis to sell. Evergrande, destabilization, contagion in the financial markets. Boom, 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 boom. that was the trigger point, right? Now, could you
Mhm.
make the argument there were some whales that were waiting and maybe they were the ones that triggered it? Yeah, but can you really know that? I don't know. I don't know that you can. So the
Yeah.
fact that the stock market is not selling off this morning, to me, again, that can change, and that's what I'm monitoring closely. But that indicator could mean that this is the bottom for crypto, at least for Bitcoin, because there's if it was going to sell off anymore, it would have done it already. And also, the stock market is just signaling a decent amount of strength here. That there's not really a strong buy thesis right now with this evergreen story. A lot of that selling was baked in. Again, can't disclaim this enough. That could change throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah, chat. I mean, we had some interesting chat here, and then we'll move on to the next story. Definitely want to point it out. GS says this has been going for 2 years. Yep, but there's so much more going on in China. I think things will get worse. Crypto Trade said, "Imagine what this will do to BRICS." They also started talking about in the chat. They're talking about the Dixie. The Dixie is at 103 and 13. We are seeing overextended oscillators and indicators on the Dixie, but absolutely, yeah. If we're seeing BRICS nations get hit hard, because guess what? The Chinese yuan and the Chinese economy was going to play a pivotal role in what BRICS nations are able to do to take away the U.S. dominance. So if the China economy starts to fall apart, what happens to BRICS and what happens to the dollar? That's definitely something we're not going to speculate too much further on this show, but something to keep our eyes on and think about and break down here in the future. I already have T-Shroom, an excuse to get Caleb Franzen on again very, very soon. I'm thinking he would be able to give us some really good insights after this bloodbath yesterday in the China economy. But yeah, let's keep
Absolutely.
moving on though. Let's move on to the other option potentially
Yep.
that is to blame for this Bitcoin crash, Mr.
Yep.
Elon and X space.
Absolutely. So, CoinDesk is running a
SpaceX.
story with the title "SpaceX isn't the cause of this multi-billion-dollar Bitcoin bloodbath." And I'll cut to the chase here. Because they do some research. SpaceX merely wrote down the value of its Bitcoin holdings as per Wall Street Journal report. Among accountants, that is the reduction in the book value of an asset when its fair market value has fallen below the book value. So all that means is that they were essentially, reconciling their book with the market price of Bitcoin, because the market price of Bitcoin had gone down quite a bit. Remember, we were around 30,000, and then we came down, and as of 24 hours ago, 27,000 was kind of a new low, right? So that is what was going on there, and the headlines got misinterpreted as they were selling. Now, it's still not clear that they haven't sold, right? But there doesn't seem to be any proof on the blockchain that quantity was sold by a known address belonging to SpaceX. So there's still a pretty big question mark hanging out there, but all indications show that no, SpaceX did not sell. And it would be nice if Elon could come out and say no, but instead he's just posted videos of him in like a fun house or something like that. So, Tim, what's going on here? Was this designed? Was this manufactured, or was just a big foible?
Yeah. No. So here's the thing. I when I saw the news break, because I saw several accounts say breaking news: SpaceX sells $373 million of Bitcoin. I was like, what? But a lot of the places I saw it, I was like, these are channels on Twitter, and it's now X, that I was like, yeah, sometimes these people are a little loose with the news. Then I saw Watch.Guru posted it. But this is why I love Watch.Guru for breaking news over on X, is because they say in their post, while they reported on it, they said rumors, it's not been confirmed. And so I was like, all right, people are overreacting to this right now. I'm sure it's playing a role in the fear department, which is exactly what manipulative people want to do. And if they want the price to get manipulated to the downside, say Elon's name in crypto and you can get a lot done. But there has been zero evidence that actually suggests that this happened. So I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but people freak out just because they see a headline in an article. Wall Street Journal, by the way, also, do we really think and give too much credit to the Wall Street Journal's accuracy with stories? They're definitely one of those publishers that has the thought of let's post things first and then find out if it's true later, just to be a big name. So guys, I mean, the headline gave it away. The whole point of this video was who's to blame for the Bitcoin crash. Was it Elon? Was it China? My vote goes China, T-Shroom. And I even think when you're looking at the stock market, you're seeing things. Yeah, I know we're going to open probably a little bit lower, but I think that there's a decent chance that the stock market has a small little tumble, but it's not as significant, at least the U.S. stock market. Because again, we're going to see China look in trouble. I think a lot of people might even look to the U.S. economy to be a one that to invest in rather than China's, which is further confirmation that crypto, again, we've seen China be a little more pro-crypto recently. We've seen a lot more people within Hong Kong and other places get into Bitcoin. So as their economy starts to look pretty rough and they're worried about their money, it makes sense that they would pull their money out of Bitcoin. It makes sense that the Chinese economy will start to be in trouble. I think China is to blame for this dip. But again, I also think don't be surprised, guys, to find out that institutions are gobbling up these low levels as much as they can because it's amazing, amazing price action. And that's how I'm shooting it. Like, yes, we're down. Yes, I'd rather price go up. Yes, I want to turn my little bit of invested money into a lot of invested money. But a new buying opportunity. I didn't even get to say this earlier, guys. I had a great conversation. Tay, I went into Tay last night and I was like, listen, crypto just crashed. I know I don't have any more of the dry powder that we set aside last time, but would you mind? I'm going to tell you guys how great my wife is. I asked her for $3,000. I asked her for $2,000. Excuse me. I asked her for $2,000 to take out of our savings and put into crypto. And she said, why two? Why not five? So I didn't spend all 5,000 of it. I kept 2,000 in dry powder to DC into some other opportunities in case price drops more. But I got to spend 3,000. Got me some more XRP. Got me some more Matic because I was a little low in those categories. I didn't buy any Bitcoin last night because I like where my Bitcoin portfolio is. But I was kind of sitting here at a level where I was like, do I need to liquidate some Bitcoin to get into more XRP and more Matic? So I was like, perfect opportunity. I got to get into some more of my coins. So get yourself a wife like Taylor is the moral of the story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know that Tim's wife name is Taylor, that may have been a very confusing comment for you. All right, we're going to take a look here. So why do I think...
You're T-Shroom.
I am T-Shroom, but my name is Taylor.
I never call you Taylor.
I know. We're having a good time. So why do I think Bitcoin took a dump yesterday? Well, I think it's because of the charts, right? I think it makes sense. It's really not rocket science here, guys. I mean, SpaceX was involved, but this is not rocket science. Okay, I think that this consolidation was too tight, and it needed to have a dump. It just makes sense when you look at the charts. So that's really my thought. I think that the Evergrande headline, it definitely coincided with the sell-off, right? And so it was the straw that broke the camel's back. But the camel was very, very aged, and in this sense, there was just a lot of consolidation, and that pressure needed to be relieved, and it was relieved to the downside, which makes sense given the 4-year cycle. So it's like what Tim, Piper, and myself have been saying for many weeks now. Is this all makes sense, and that's why neither of one of us are really showing any kind of fear, and you're not really seeing much fear in the chat. There's a lot being said in the chat, but it's not very fearful. A lot of it's just a celebration that there's lower prices to be bought here. It really is just a discount on what could be the most valuable asset ever in humanity. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. That's what that is, guys. There's some more headlines, though, here. Former President Trump says he will replace Fed Chair Jerome Powell if elected in 2024. Yeah. That's really interesting, Tim. What do you think is going to happen here with this?
Well, so I told you this morning in the pre-show T-shirt, I was tired last night when I saw this. So my brain computed that he said he would replace Gary Gensler, and I was like, oh, well, that's awesome. Why? Because A, we get rid of Gary Gensler if he wins, but B, that if Trump was anti-Gary Gensler, guys, the real main reason to be anti-Gary Gensler, even though he's not a great person at his job and he does a lot of terrible things, the big crime is against crypto. So if Trump was anti-Gary Gensler, that would probably be further confirmation that he is pro-crypto. But it wasn't. It was Jerome Powell. So we continue not to know exactly what Trump thinks on crypto, even though he holds $2.8 million worth of it. I do like seeing, though, that he wants to get rid of Jerome Powell. If you watch the video, we're not going to show it here today, but Watcher.guru has it. He talks about the pressure he put on Jerome Powell, that he believes even the reason why the Biden administration kept Jerome Powell around is because they knew how much Trump didn't like him. Yeah, he is a very big believer that the way we've raised interest rates was not the right decision, that you need to strengthen the economy and get more people investing into it. Now, I'm sure Trump would be a big proponent of saying, let's turn off the printers. So you can't keep the rates low and then just keep printing money. You're just going to create a bigger problem. But it was interesting to see. I'll say this about Jerome Powell. He's had moments, T-Shroom, that I absolutely hate his decision making and what he does. And it makes you really scratch your head and say, what is this guy doing? Is he a part of the? Is someone in his pocket telling him what to say and what to do at these press conferences to try to suppress price? But there have been certain moments. I do got to give credit where credit's due. There have been certain moments I actually have been proud of Jerome Powell. I thought he's made the right choice. I thought he, said the right things. And I thought, I'm kind of split on him. I do think Jerome Powell thinks that he's doing what's best, T-Shroom. I don't think I would put Jerome Powell in the same category as Gary Gensler when it comes to my belief about his corruption levels. I think he gets pressured. I don't think anyone's paying him, but I think just like Trump pressured him, and Trump said he pressured him into lowering interest rates back when Trump was president. I guarantee you that there's people within the government that put pressure on Jerome Powell and the Fed to make decisions. But I wouldn't go as full-fledged to say that, if you were asking me who would I rather get rid of, Gary Gensler or Jerome Powell, that's Gary Gensler by a mile. It's not even close. But I wouldn't mind Jerome Powell being replaced either, I guess is the best way to put it. What do you think, T-Shroom?
Well, I tend to agree. If you're looking at it from a traditional finance standpoint, Jerome Powell is actually one of the most even-keeled and through the lens, again, of TradFi, one of the most even-keeled and successful Fed chairman because of the cards he has been dealt, right, through the pandemic and through what we've been going on more recently, and through the Chinese devaluation of their currency a couple years ago. He's actually done pretty well. From a macroeconomic standpoint, he's terrible, but it's only because he's coming in from this Keynesian training, from the schools and all that he's gone to and all of that, and also this just completely disregard for the value of the dollar. But that's okay in the minds of those who control our economy today. That and other central banks. That's okay. The central banks are okay with that now, which they shouldn't be. But if you look at it again through the lens of the traditional financial system, which has bought into this lie that debt is okay in mass quantities, in 120% excess of the GDP of the nation that you're managing the currency for, it's not okay. So in some sense, he's actually spectacular, better than Alan Greenspan, right? But in other levels of analysis, honestly, the ones that matter, he's kind of just a puppet for a very corrupt and terrible idea. So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on him. And should he be kicked out? I think that's a little bit more complicated. That probably has to do more with a 5-year segment of political analysis. And Trump would know better than I do in that regard. But I'd say probably he should stick around because of the institutional. Because what I think needs to happen is they need to end it. They need to put a sunset on the Federal Reserve and go ahead and put, maybe make a super small CBDC that's just to pay government workers and nothing else, and then sunset the entire Federal Reserve in general. That's kind of my thought.
I mean, interesting. Yeah, I don't think if Trump does get elected president again, I doubt we see him end the Fed. Again, he's a big proponent of the dollar. And by the way, you can be a big proponent of the dollar and still be pro-crypto. So again, we're not saying if this move makes him anti-crypto, but it is a continuation of he still believes the dollar has a future, which would put him, that makes him he can't be a crypto enthusiast. You can't think the dollar has a long life ahead of it and think that crypto is going to be the changing the world. He still thinks dollar's power. But
You don't
maybe
believe in a 2-coin solution, Tim?
I don't think that a 2-coin solution could include the dollar. No, I think his thought would almost be like, hey, freedom money, you do what you want with freedom money, but I want to strengthen the dollar because that's what I believe the most powerful thing should be. That's why I kind of think he would come out. That's why I think he's not talking about crypto, because if he was anti-crypto, he would say he's anti-crypto. If he was pro-crypto, he would say he's pro-crypto. I think he's comfortable saying I'm pro-dollar and I'm pro-freedom, and that would include crypto. So,
well, I also think that the crypto community has not really pressured these politicians to really take one side or the other. It's only really the initiative of Kennedy coming out and being so pro-Bitcoin that has kind of forced, and maybe DeSantis had his tendencies towards crypto independently, but that really brought DeSantis, who's a very prominent figure on the political landscape, to say one thing or the other on crypto and went in favor of it. And then Vivek, he seems to also have his own organic thoughts of it. But would his advisors have thought to emphasize that pro-crypto stance if it hadn't have been for Kennedy? I don't think so. So Trump is really only having to wrestle with that now. And to be honest with you, he has so much else on his radar, maybe you've heard, that I doubt it's really on the top of his brain.
Probably not. Well, we got to close out here today. But Eric Wallen, I did not forget about it. Eric Wallen says, Tim A., what about weekly predictions? We're doing them. And there's a reason why Eric Wallen wants us to do them. It's because he's a winner. But let's talk about it first with the big three. Guys, I was the bull of the week. I had slim pickings on it, but my 28,638 was the only bullish prediction activated, even by community. Nobody in the community, everyone went higher. The lowest one was Eric Wallen at 29.7. Eric Wallen said 29.7. He matched up with Piper and T-Shroom. T-Shroom said 29.7, a 1, and Piper said 29.7 exactly. So I'm the bull, and I'm the only bull. I'm the only person in the entire Investing Bros community who got activated. Now, when it comes to bears, when it comes to the big three of us, Piper does win because he went low. He went all the way down to 27,900. So, Piper, you win on air, bear of the week. But when it comes to the community, we have a community member, ladies and gentlemen, that hit this just about perfectly. I'm going to give it to him, because he said 25,000 even. Now, while we did not hit it on Bitcoin, did we even hit it? Let's see. Did we hit it on the price index? I don't know if we did or not. Let me kind of zoom in here and look at that. The price index went down to about 25,253. So he didn't hit on the charts we usually look at, but there are several charts that hit 25,000. There are charts that went down below 25,000. So we're going to give it to Eric Wallen. The man crushed it this week. Your community bear of the week, Eric Wallen, ladies and gentlemen. That is all we have, though, for today. And traditionally, guys, on this Friday, we say, you guys have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday. But today we get to say we'll see you tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the first Saturday live Investing Bros show. Be there or I will cry. See you guys tomorrow.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.